onto a crash on I-65. It's in the northbound lanes. It's fatal. They already have the detours taken care of. And I get up to the scene, and there are red lights, blue lights, a green light, which is corner in the state of Indiana, all over north and southbound lanes in the median on both sides of the southbound lane. Now the crash is northbound. So the first thing I do, I just get out and I walk the scene. Of course, that's my area. Everybody knows who I am. Plus, on the license plate of my car was a major's insignia that said car 10. All right? So they definitely knew where I was. But they also knew that I was the in-time chair. So I just review the scene real quick, and then I call everybody together except for our rookie Drew. He was busy. And I said, what do we have going? Well, we're waiting on a corner. So we have a corner. Well, we're in the 3/4 of a mile of this stretch that's Hendricks County, and the Marion County corner is there. So heaven forbid that we help each other out here, so we have to wait. I said, okay, the first thing we're going to do is clear the scene. Southbound traffic is now at 15 miles an hour. The speed limit on on I-65 is 70 miles an hour. So is that good for us to be at 15 miles an hour? No, it's not, because we're going to have a secondary crash. It's not if, it's when. So I said, first thing we want to do is get all vehicles off of the southbound lane, out of the median. I want everybody over in the northbound lane. I want you facing northbound. And I want all of your front red-blue lights off. And I only want one pair of headlights to the front. Everybody else shut your headlights off. What am I trying to do? Yeah, we're trying to help to not distract the southbound traffic. 10 minutes after we did that, the traffic was back at 55 miles an hour southbound. Good. I can handle a 15-mile-an-hour difference. That's good. Now, what did we learn from that scene? We learned that fire departments in the state of Indiana have one light switch on their truck. They're either on or they're off. So now what are fire companies doing in the state of Indiana? They're putting at least 2 switches in so they can shut those front lights off and keep their back ones on. If we don't work together and talk together, we don't understand what kind of flaws that we have that are easy fixes. Okay? This is one of them. This is the way the scene ought to be set up if we absolutely have to have the scene shut down. This is our Lebanon Fire Department in the county I work, or I live. The record's up here, jackknife semi, snowstorm. This is around a curve. They have everything set up like they're supposed to, safe as they can have it. They also have a squad car back here around the curve, letting them know that there's a problem up in the state police. Will travel outside of the state of Indiana if you pay for his travel. But he's put together a program where he goes in and does a traffic study on a location to determine what a safe speed would be. All right? For Indianapolis area on 465, that's our ring around Indianapolis, we have it set at 55 because who tells us to do that? Federal government. FHWA says we have to do that because we are inside city limits that's 50,000 people or more. Right? Well, we got a couple federal highway guys here, don't we? Like I'm ripping their heads off. You know? What? It's built for traffic. Alright? It doesn't have 90-degree turns. It is built for speed, for moving traffic. So we're down to 55. Just about 2 miles outside of that, we have a 65 limit. And just outside of that, we're up at 70. So why are we changing those speed zones? I know. Speed traps. Fundraising. That's not what I said. But that's what the general public thinks. NDOT, there are departments of transportation, do studies on the amount of traffic, the traffic flow, the normal speed, and that's the way they set it. And we have had success meeting with those NDOT engineers in specific locations. The location I showed you where that great big ball of fire was, outbound, they had, coming off I-465 to I-69, it was 55 miles an hour for the first three miles. And we sat down with them in a room and said, now, we are trying to let traffic get out of Indianapolis. And we are constraining them for 3 miles. There is nothing there, no reason to constrain them, except for the population. So we talked them into, they agreed to, as soon as they get off that 465 ramp on I-69, it immediately goes to 65. 1 mile up, it goes to 70, and we're 70 miles the rest of the way. Communication back and forth. You can make a difference. But this gentleman has a program that he's put together. He's very, very good at it. Now, Indiana's in time is law enforcement led. Now, I just said a minute ago, I am not the dictator. Indiana State Police, this is one of the fears that I had to work on probably the first year and a half. The Indiana State Police is not the big brother coming in to say, this is the way we're going to do it. The Indiana State Police simply was a facilitator. If you want a traffic incident management effort to work, you have to have somebody that's going to drive it. And when I took this to the superintendent, I told him, I think this is a good idea, and I think we ought to be lead. And in our in-time bylaws, I have provided all this information, and I have some other files with it. Brian has it. This stuff is free for you. You use it, abuse it, throw it away, whatever you want to do to it. There's nothing here copyrighted. But law enforcement, Indiana State Police, is the lead agency. We have bylaws that represent all first responder agencies. Okay? I have one vote in that voting community, just like everybody else. So I can't come in there and ramrod what I want to accomplish. We met monthly until, for the past 3 years, now quarterly, and we are now asking our Metropolitan Planning Organization to help us spread this statewide. We've made some progress, but not enough. And we're going to meet as a state once a quarter, but every month, the other 2 months, we want regional in-time groups to meet, and then every third month, come back into the statewide so we can work that way. You must have agency association head support. Now that doesn't mean that the head of your agency is going to be the driving factor. It simply means that that agency head believes that this is a good idea for us to do, and I am going to commit the manpower and whatever else I need to ensure that it happens. Because if we don't get buy-in from the agency head, then you guys aren't going to do it, even though you think it's a good idea. And some of you have a good working relationship with the disciplines in your area, and some of you do not. All right? Tim has to be multidisciplinary. I'm going to go through a list here in just a minute of the 25 or 26 agencies and associations that we have involved in Indiana's in time. It has to be multidisciplinary. I seldom, the 3.5 years that I was the chair, when I assign a committee, if it's something about towing, I'm going to ask him to be the chair, but then I'm going to have other folks that are on there. And if it's something with engineering, then I'm going to have FHWA or NDOT lead it, but I'm going to have other disciplines on that as well. There must be a champion. Somebody has to drive it. Now, again, you're not the dictator. I have been Indiana's chairman, or chair, and kind of the champion. There were 4 of us that were initial champions. We had 2 folks from NDOT and 1 from Federal Highway Administration, Karen Stippick from Indiana. We were the 4 that started this. And then my boss agreed that this was important. And my lieutenant colonel, about 3 years ago, said, I need you to spend 75% of your time on in time. Okay. So I'm a commander of a division, and now I have this added responsibility, but I have good people that work for me in that division, so they were able to do that. So I was able to spend time here, going on around the state, talking and pushing this with agency heads on down. But you have to have somebody that's a champion. The thing that I did not see in your draft, your MOU, was who is it Oakheart?
Oakheart is the region.
Okay, Oakheart is the region, okay. I didn't see who were the people involved in the committee, if you will. So I would be pleased to see some direction in that MOU, or come from that direction to see who is involved.